A massive criminal underworld. From the massive mafias of the 1900s to the massive gangs in operation today. What makes the mafia in the 1900s so massively different from modern day gangs? In this video, we are going to be going into a massive analysis in order to find these differences. The first massive difference between gangs in the modern day to the mafia of the 1900s is how they were organized. Mafias were highly structured with clear chains of command.
For instance, an associate is someone who works with the mafia but is not an official member, while soldiers are official members and can be promoted to a higher rank. A capo regime is pretty much a capo, or a captain of a group, and are pretty much mid-level managers. While the underboss is typically the number 2 in command. And then you have the boss with his advisor, the consigliere.
And typically, modern day gangs are less structured and the chain of command is a lot less clear, which is a crazy difference. And you want to know what else is crazy? Another massive difference between modern gangs and the mafia is their objectives. Typically, mafias focused on long-term sophisticated enterprises, while typically modern gangs focus more on quick money schemes. Alex Jones, what do you have to say about that?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay!
Couldn't have put it better myself, Alex. Now let's massively move on. Another massive difference between mafias and modern day gangs is their recruitment. Recruitments for the mafia were either family-based or based on your ethnicity. Meanwhile, modern gangs hire based off of if you're in the local community rather than familial relationship. And speaking of relationship, Future came out with a new book titled I Don't Fix Girls, I Make Them Worse. Only $69.99 on the TikTok shop. And another massive difference between them are what they seek to do. Old mafias typically sought to infiltrate local businesses. Kind of like...
Nigga Chain, the first fully AI layer 2 blockchain built on Solana by niggas for niggas. LLM, lot of lil money's technology.
While modern gangs typically focus on short-term goals. Another massive difference between the two were how they use violence. See, the old mafia used violence strategically and sparingly, almost as if the public had never seen it in the first place. Kind of like a weekend at Bernie's, you didn't even know it was there. Meanwhile, modern gangs use violence as a tool to intimidate and scare. Kind of like a kid posting on a Snapchat story, don't come to school tomorrow. You know when you see that, he means business. Another massive difference. I said another massive difference. There we go. Was how they interacted with police. Mafias relied heavily on bribery and corruption. Meanwhile, modern gangs typically go for direct confrontations, resulting in higher incarceration rates. You know, I have a feeling that a criminal speaking to a police officer is kind of like trying to talk to a person in France.
Hey, excuse me, do you know where I can find
the... Francais, telmente terrible.
I'm sorry, excuse me? Stupid American.
At least that's how I would imagine it would go. Another massive difference. Yellow? Uh-huh. Alright, I'll let them know. Alright guys, we're gonna pause the video and have a word from our sponsors.
Sick and tired of a flat butt? Well, have no fear. Skittles BBL is here. With brand new molten sugar BBL technology, we've perfected and honed the craft of a Skittles BBL. Just look at these satisfied customers. Before, after, and we even have a review from a satisfied customer.
Touch me! Oh yes, just touch me! So I can get my satisfaction!
Skittles BBL. Get one today.
Another massive difference between the mafia and modern gangs is this. Mafias typically avoided direct confrontation with police. This was to preserve operations and make sure everything was as low-key as a person with Down syndrome looking for a lost chromosome. And typically, modern gangs are less able to preserve their operations due to advancements in technology. So pretty much the crime game is as washed as Klay Thompson right now. And another massive difference is that old mafias typically dominated either local communities or cities, but not really much far from there. Meanwhile, modern gangs can span across cities, states, and even countries, pretty much contaminating the entire world like Flint, Michigan's tap water.